Hello, hello. Hello and good afternoon. It is afternoon for me, so hello and good afternoon from New York. I feel like I'm hosting like a show, but good afternoon. My name is Susana Briscoe-Alba. I am excited to connect with y'all today. Welcome to today's Q&A. We are live in a couple of places. Let me just make sure I give kudos where we're at. If you get disconnected here on Instagram, know that we are live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So we are live in a couple of places. And as you are coming into the room, I'd love for you to tell me where you are joining from. And if this is your first time joining a live, I'd love for you to drop a 1 in the chat and let me know that this is your first time. If this is not your first time, if you are true to this and not new to this, I want you to drop a 2 in the chat and also let me know where you are joining me from. So if this is not new to you, and you've been rocking with your girl for some time, I'd love for you to tell me where you are joining me from and drop a 1 in the chat if this is your first time. If this is not your first time, I want you to drop a 2 in the chat and tell me where you are joining me from. So on YouTube and on YouTube, I see we have folks from North Carolina and from Jamaica. Hey, and we have folks joining us on Instagram from Houston, from India, from Birmingham, from the UK, from Texas, Poland, South Carolina, Chicago is in the house, Dallas. Man, I am excited. Y'all are from all over the place. I really am looking forward to connecting with y'all today. Canada is in the building, London, UK is in the house, New York, my home state, is in the building. I'm excited to connect with y'all today. So we typically go live every Monday around 12 o'clock to answer your questions surrounding career search and leadership development. For those of you who are in the career search and you're kind of in that process, welcome. I know that it has not been easy, especially if you are in this current job market looking for a new opportunity. I understand the challenges that you are facing. So my hope today is to be able to provide you some practical information that you can leverage in this type of environment so that you can get seen, valued, heard, and equipped. That is the theme for Susana Alba. And that's what I do. For those of you who are new and you're like, who is this lady? Like, why are we watching her right now? Why are there over 200 people engaging with her? My name is Susana Briscoe-Alba. I am the lead career strategist at Dunamis Coaching and Consulting Services, where we teach women how to land six-figure roles through leadership development and career strategy. Okay, that is who I am, that is who I work for, and that is what I do. We are also going to be launching our first women's leadership conference for those women who are either in leadership roles or are trying to get into leadership roles. We will be hosting our first conference here in New York on June 25th and June 26th. And we can't wait to welcome you. There are several of you who have already registered. And I am beyond excited to be able to meet you in person, to greet you, and more importantly, to make sure that you leave better than when you came in. So if you're excited, if you've already registered for the conference, I can't wait to get to know you, to learn more about your story, for you to get to meet our speakers. For those of you who are still interested and want to get more information surrounding what the conference is, who's going to be there, what am I going to learn? I will be giving you some information on that in a little bit, but the conference will be held on June 25th and June 26th, and we are going to be welcoming women from all over the country to make sure that you are equipped in the best ways possible to show up unapologetically. Because what we're not trying to do is hide in 2024. Okay. Our theme for 2024 is going to be well paid, well hydrated, and well equipped. Okay. We are going to be serving women from a variety of industries, ranging from education all the way to project management and project leadership. My background is in higher education. And so we're going to be serving women from everything from education to project leadership and project management, and everything that falls in between. So I can't wait. Okay, so we are going to get into your questions surrounding what you have asked me. And so I can't wait to touch base with y'all. But if you can hear me and see me well, can you please drop a 3 in the chat for me? If you can hear me and see me well, can you drop a 3 in the chat for me? Okay. While I get some water, because I want to make sure that I am well hydrated to answer your questions. You guys have a lot of good ones, and I can't wait to get into them, but I want to make sure that you can hear me and see me well. Okay, I'm getting 3s. Beautiful. I love it. So you can hear me and see me well. Excellent. Okay, so let's get into the questions that you submitted. So one of the first questions that I got was this individual has been let go from their role, and they have a question surrounding what to do in the search process. Okay, so um so when it comes to this individual, they're telling me that they had gotten let go from their role, and they're trying to figure out if, because they got let go, is their resume getting eliminated by the ATS, and can they ask for a reference from the place that they got let go from? So there's a couple ways that you can address that. The first thing that I'm going to say, and this has been coming up a lot in my DMs and also in a lot of comments, is what do I do if I've been let go? How do I tell them that I've been let go? Let me free some of y'all in this moment right now. Because you got let go does not mean that you are not hireable. That's number one. And number two, unless they are explicitly asking about why you got let go or what were the implications surrounding why you got let go, that is not a topic that I want you to bring up. And it's not because I don't want you to be honest. It's because many of you, when it comes to this topic of being let go, you're speaking from a very emotional place. And so in speaking from a very emotional place, you're starting to downplay the fact that you are in fact skilled to do good work. And just because you got let go, just because there was a restructuring in the organization, just because life happened, does not mean that that life for you has ended. So, unless there is some way that they would have found out without you saying that you got let go, and that comes up during the interview, then you are to prepare to be able to share what happened if you choose to. Okay. It is up to you to share as much information surrounding what happened at your previous employer. So when you are in that season where you are where you got let go, layoffs are happening left and right. And so it's not uncommon for people to have gaps in their resume, or if they were let go from a different position. What we are going to ask you as hiring managers is, can you tell me why you are looking for a new role? That's usually how the question will sound during an interview. What I want you to respond to is, why are you interested in this role at this organization in this moment? That is what I want you to respond with. Because in essence, that's what we want to know more of. Why are you looking to leave your current role? Or why are you looking to join our company for this role? The reason why I'm looking to join the company for this role at this time to do X work is because I don't want you to start with, well, I was let go and they just I was blindsided and now I'm on the market for a new job. While that may very well be true, two things can be true as well. You are on the market for a new job, but you are an expert. So let's go from the place of expertise instead of the place of desperation. Okay. So I'm hoping that this is helping y'all, especially if you are in a place where you're like entering the job market again and you're not entirely sure how to respond, or if you have not been on an interview for a really long time. I'm trying to give you the tea on how to answer some of these questions, because I want you to come from a place of affirmation instead of coming from a place of desperation. And as hiring managers, we can pick up on that. So I want you to be honest in your responses, but I want you to be honest from the place of, you know how to do good work. Because if you were not good at your work, you would not be you would not be making a paycheck. Like, okay. So, especially for those of you who are following me, who are women who are in leadership or you're aspiring to be in leadership, and right now your career circumstance looks different, my love, you still know how to do good work. Okay. I'm getting off on a tangent, but I wanted to make sure that I provided some context. The other question was, how does this impact my resume and the ATS? The ATS system, here's another kind of gem that I want to give y'all. The ATS system, not the ATM, the ATS system is looking for a perfect match. Okay. Perfect match. And so the reason why we tell you, or I tell you, to make sure that you are tailoring your resume for the positions that you are applying for is twofold. One, if you have too much information, you can overwhelm the system and overwhelm the individual who is interviewing you. Okay. Secondly, the other reason why I tell you to customize your resume is to make sure that the keywords that you are using are relevant to the role that you are applying for. Okay, relevant to the role that you are applying for. And so I want you to be very well aware of what you are putting on your resume. So, like that, you are coming from a place that is relevant to the position that you are applying for. Okay. So I hope that helped. If that helped you, I want you to type an amen because I'm taking you to church. I'm taking you to career church today. Okay. So if that helped you, I want you to type an amen in the chat. Make sure y'all are with me. I want to make sure that y'all got me. Okay. I'm seeing some of y'all. Yes, I see some amens. Okay. The next question is, I am about to succeed from a fellow team member to a lead of said team member. How do I not sound bossy? Ooh, that's such a good question. So this individual submitted their question because they're likely moving into a leadership role. Okay. And this is one of the topics that we're going to be covering at the conference, is how do you make that transition from being just in the same environment to now leading a team, especially when they've known you for some time. Because when it comes into now leading and they've known you for some time, some people tend to get the lines crossed, and that familiarity that they have with you turns into disrespect if you don't set boundaries very quickly. Okay. I have been in positions where I have had to lead friends of mine. And recently I posted something saying that your colleagues are not your friends. And those who I've had to lead that have fallen into the into the friendship category, what has made them remain a friend after I have gotten into this leadership role is that they understood the boundaries. And so the reason why I shared that your colleagues are not your friends is because some colleagues do not understand boundaries. And so if you are being moved into a leadership role and now you are leading the team that you became friendly with, you will need to set some clear parameters in terms of what you will and will not tolerate. And if they don't know how to respect that, they were never your friend to begin with. They fell in love with the idea of access to you because of how it benefited them, instead of being able to be a true friend and a champion for who you are. Y'all need to know the difference. This is why I say your colleagues are not your friends. They are your colleagues. Those who understand the role in which you are in will understand that you moving up is not a threat to them. Because two things can be true. You can move up and still lead effectively, and they can also move up and learn and support you in the areas where you need that support. So you need to understand the difference of that. The reason that I find so many women, especially women, struggle with getting into leadership roles or continuing to scale in leadership roles is because you got too close or too comfortable with certain folk. And now you've overshared some information that has been weaponized against you. And instead of advancing, you feel yourself shrinking. What we're not trying to do is that anymore. So please be aware. Be aware of that kind of line. And if you are at a place where, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I want to make sure that you can hear me well. Because I feel like I lost some of y'all. Can you hear me? Okay, y'all can hear me on Instagram. Can you hear me on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook? All right, I think some of y'all can hear me. All right, beautiful. Okay, so what has happened is that, hold on, y'all, hold on, because my sound is starting to go into different spaces, and I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Hold on 1 second, because I'm connected to the wrong thing. Can you hear me well still? Can you guys hear me well? All right, I'm getting some of y'all can hear me, but it's a little glitchy. The audio is skipping. Can you still now hear me? I'm sorry that I have to ask this question so many times, but I don't want to lose y'all. Okay. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so the reason why, getting back to that leadership role and how that ends up impacting women, especially women in leadership, here's the thing. What I find is that there are not too many positions that are created with women in mind. Okay. Not to say that there aren't positions for women. Do not misunderstand me. But what I do find is that within certain companies, within certain places and spaces, the opportunities that are available for women are limited. And so instead of it being an environment where we can continue to grow together, it becomes an environment where we're constantly fighting against each other. And if you have been in a position where you are now growing and ascending into a new role, what will happen if you've overshared is that now the information, instead of the information that you overshared, now that information is weaponized against you, because now we've created competition because we both want to get to the same spot. Is this making sense? And so if you are in that season where you are going to be elevated into a spot where you could potentially now be leading colleagues of yours who you've become friendly with, I implore you to have an honest conversation about what is coming next. Because some people will fall in love with you or will fall in love with the version of you that they can still manipulate or that can still benefit them in some way. But the moment that you start to outgrow and the moment that you start to realize just how powerful you are, there is a certain level of intimidation that comes. And it's not because you've done anything. It's a them problem, not a you issue. And so in order for you to be able to do that and do that well, you need to be able to establish clear boundaries. And this is coming from someone who has had to have this conversation many times. And some conversations have led to us drifting in different directions. And it's all right. Everything and everyone comes in for a season. The reason that I refuse to stay stuck is because I can recognize that that season has now passed and it is time for me to continue moving forward. It's totally up to you if you want to come with me or you want to stay right where you're at. It's not my job to judge you. I'm not here for the tea, but I'm just going to let you know now that the expectancy of me looks different. And so my expectancy of you is going to look different. That's all. Okay. So I hope that that answered that question. And I'm sorry for the delay. But that's how I would handle if I were being promoted into a new role and I'm worried about my friend thinking that I'm bossy or that I'm condescending or anything like that. Address those things early so like that you can lead well, because if not, it's going to get in your head and you won't be able to perform right. The next question is from someone who is retired and they are applying for a director of a nonprofit position. And they want to have a better understanding of how they can leverage their skills for the director of nonprofit. Okay. So if you are in a position, how many of you would say that you are there where you are applying for new opportunities and you struggle identifying what are some of your transferable skills? If you struggle with identifying what are some of your transferable skills, I want you to type me in the chat, because I'm hoping that the answer that I give you will help you. And because of our time, I don't have enough time to break this all down. But I'm hoping that today, when I give you this response, you can start at least to move in the right direction. Okay. So if you struggle identifying your transferable skills, I want you to put me in the chat. All right. So it seems like this is something that many. Here's the reason why I tell you to put me in the chat, especially on like Instagram and on YouTube. Social media will have you out here thinking that there is an issue with you because everybody else seems to have it together. I'm going to say that one more time. Social media will have you out here thinking that there is an issue with you because everybody else seems to have it together. The reason that I encourage y'all to type me in the chat is because I want you to see that you are not alone in your struggle. That's the first thing. The second thing that I want you to see is that it is more common than people talk about. And the reason why most people will stay stuck is because in isolation is where that stuckness happens. There is so many of you that are telling me right now that you struggle with identifying your transferable skills. And the simplest way that I can encourage you to find or better identify what are your transferable skills is by doing the shape exercise. Okay. Now, you've heard me talk about the shape before if you've been in my circle for some time. If you are new to my space, I'm going to break down what the shape stands for. So, on a piece of paper, again, because I'm super practical, I believe in practicality. Don't give me a lot of theory. I'm going to get confused. Break it down, make it plain. Okay. So, on a piece of paper, what I want you to do is I want you to write on the margin of that paper the word shape. 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 And the reason that you do that is because I want you to identify for each of those letters, I'm going to give you what they stand for. The S stands for your strength. What are the things that you are strong in? The H stands for your heart. What are the things that you are passionate about? Okay. The A stands for your abilities. What are the things that you do well? What are the things that you do well? Okay. The P stands for your personality. What are the things that are unique to you? What are the things that are unique to you? And the E stands for your expertise. Do not confuse expertise with ability. Expertise means that you have dominated an item or a theory or something to the point where you can teach someone else how to do it and they get excellent results. That is expertise. So, what is the skill that you have dominated to the point of mastery that you can teach someone else and they will get excellent results? That is what the shape stands for. And again, I wish I had more time because we could do a whole lot with that. But the reason that I want you to break that down and start getting real clear around what that represents for you is because your passion will be tied to your purpose, which will be tied to your provision. Ooh, I feel like I'm preaching right now. I'm going to say that one more time because that came fresh to my mind and I want you guys to be aware. Your passion will be tied to your purpose, which will be tied to your provision. Okay? The H stands for your heart. The P stands for your personality. I'm going to say that again. Your passion will be tied to your purpose, which will be tied to your provision. What, Susana, make it make sense. What does that mean? I am passionate about teaching others about how they can leverage their skills to create new opportunities. I am passionate about teaching. What are we doing right now? I am teaching. It is tied to my purpose. Everything that I have done over the course of my life, when it comes to teaching, I have seen success in, because it's tied to who I am innately. It is tied to my purpose. So when you meet Susana Alba and you find that she is passionate about teaching, the reason that she is passionate about it is because it's tied to her purpose. And so when it's tied to my purpose and I am passionate about it in some way, shape, or form, it's tied to my provision as well. And so what did that look like for me prior to me launching my agency? And the way that I serve y'all now was that I was in education, in higher education. Because for me, providing opportunities and teaching others about how education could serve as a key to transform their life going forward was a passion of mine. It was by no coincidence that when people got to meet me at a college or at a university or at a fair or at some place that I was speaking, they wanted to know more information. Why? Because I was passionate about that. So I'm going to break this down for you again. The S stands for your strength. The H stands for your heart. What are you passionate about? The A stands for your abilities. What are you good at? The P stands to your personality. What are those quirky things about you that make you who you are? And the E is your expertise. What is it that you have mastered? What is it that you have learned with such expertise and mastery that you can teach someone else and they can continue to move forward? Whew! I feel like that was a gem right there. If that was a gem for y'all, I want you to drop gem. Gem. Now listen, if I get so excited because it's something that I wish someone would have taught me. So like that, I did not have to struggle so much. And I could accept the truth of what I kept fighting. Because my purpose and my passion looked so different than everyone else that I was surrounded by. And because it looked so different, I thought that there was something wrong with me. When in truth, it was my unique agitation that was tailored to me because I knew how to be able to solve said issue. This is how you're able to identify what are some of your transferable skills, because you have them in you. But may I submit to you that the issue why you're struggling is probably because you're applying it in the wrong spaces. So I want you to think through that. And here's the thing. The easiest way that you can start to like touch on your shape if you're struggling, because some people are like, Susana, that all sounds real good, but I still have no idea how to do that. What is it that people are constantly coming to you for? Hey, can I pick your brain? Hey, can I have your feedback on this? What do you think about X, Y, and Z? If you start to assess that, you will start to see a pattern, because people are not going to come to you for solutions that they don't think you can help them with. So start to ask yourself, what is it that people are constantly coming to me for? And what is the solution that I'm providing for them? And how can I apply that to this current job market? Because clearly the data is showing me that there is a problem that I carry a solution for that I could possibly get well compensated for. Okay. So if people always want advice from you, what type of advice are they looking for? What, like, start there. And then from there, start to assess what's going on. Okay. There's so much that I can unpack there, but I really do want to answer your questions. So I'm not, I'm not going to keep teaching from that point, but I want you to be aware that if you are trying to identify what are your transferable skills, if you do nothing else today after this live, please promise me that you'll take some time to identify what your shape is and then move from there. Okay? That is the way that you make shift happen. So please pay attention. And I'm going to drop this with y'all one more time. Okay? Your passion will be tied to your purpose, which will be tied to your provision. Your passion will be tied to your purpose, which will be tied to your provision. So pay attention, sis. Okay? I'm just trying to help you out. Okay. Next question I got was, how can I stand out as a generalist, good at a few things, expert at none? Ooh, baby. So as a generalist, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being a generalist, especially if you know a lot about especially if you know a little bit about a lot of things, because you can then become a jack of all trades. What I would say is, if you are a generalist and you know a lot about, a little about a lot of things, pay attention to where in the market the knowledge that you have, you can maximize. Okay? Pay attention to where in the market, in the workplace, at your job, as you're looking for a new job, where in the market can you maximize the knowledge that you have? Because at the end of the day, and if I'm being 100% transparent, because I don't know how to be any other way, you have real bills to pay. Okay? Very real ones. So we need to pay attention, knowing what I know. Where do I see an opportunity for me? Okay. So what does that look like right now? Sales and marketing in the workforce, those are booming right now, especially if you know how to leverage platforms like these. People will pay top dollar. AI, ooh, another booming industry if you know how to leverage it right. HR, it's a struggle right now. People are getting let go. Not too many people want to be there right now. But if you know how to leverage and pay attention to what is happening in the market, then you know how to get in where you fit in, sis. So there's nothing wrong with being a generalist. Where there is an issue is if you keep trying to force yourself into places and spaces where there's no demand for your skill. Okay, let's keep going. I hope that answered the question. Next question. This is, again, I answered this question before, but the question was, what should I say when I'm asked why did I get fired? Y'all, unless you tell me as a hiring manager that you got fired, I don't know that information. So I want you to reframe the way that you are answering your questions. Because if you got let go, talk about why this opportunity in this season for this organization is a good fit. That's the last time I'm going to mention that. And the reason that I say that is because again, we're very emotional when these things happen, and you have every right to be, because most people, when they get fired, they feel that they've been blindsided. And I can understand that. They're not anticipating that. But when it comes to your new role, I don't know that unless you share that with me. Okay. Agism is the next question. What would be some good ways to overcome this in what would be some good ways to overcome in this job market agism? Knowing that they're not going to ask my age, but may prefer a younger candidate in the role. I've already altered my resume to remove dates, work dates. If you are my more seasoned professionals, if you are prime time professionals, that's what I like to call y'all, my more seasoned folks. Prime time, because here's the thing, you have a wealth of knowledge and understanding. And if you're concerned with ageism, I'm going to tell you to leverage your network. One of the things that I teach in my coaching program is the CAPE framework: clarity, activation, planning, and execution. Activation in that module, when we're talking about that, activation means activating your network. There are likely individuals who are in your network who have moved on to other organizations, other industries, other fields, or they've moved up in organizations, in different industries, in other fields. If you're applying cold and you are a more seasoned professional and you're concerned with combating ageism, I'm going to tell you to activate your network. One of my clients, we are in the middle of negotiating for her, and I'm so excited for her. But the way that she got to the role that she's gotten right now is because she activated her network. And the issue that I have with a lot of people is that when you hear me say network, you immediately think your work network. How many of you, when you hear me say network, you immediately think the people that you work with? If that's you, I want you to drop a 3 in the chat. If you hear network and you immediately think of the people that you work with, I want you to drop a 3 in the chat. If you hear network and you immediately think of the people that you work with, I want you to drop a 3 in the chat. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you about my client, because I'm going to brag on her for a little bit. We've been working together now for just about 12 weeks. And what we've been doing is going through that framework: clarity, activation, planning, and execution. When we got to the activation stage, we talked about leveraging your network. And much like y'all, my client thought, oh, well, everybody that I work with is in the same industry, and I don't want to stay in the same industry. What I told her was that I wanted her to break her network into 3 types of people groups: nice to knows, need to knows, and connectors. Nice to knows, need to knows, and connectors. The other thing that I wanted her to pay attention to was, I don't want you to only look at your professional network. I want you to look at your personal network as well. What's the personal network? The personal network is who's in your friend circle, who's in your family circle, who's in your church environment, who's in the place where you volunteer at, who are the people that you are connected to on social media, where are some of the connections that you've had from when you were at a different place in your work life, or when you were going to school. What were some of the professors that you connected with? Those are your personal network. You need to learn how to leverage that. Because when you're able to leverage your network, you can identify new opportunities. I was telling you about my client. So here's the thing. She applied for several positions, and she was able to break out her network into those 3 people groups: nice to knows, need to knows, and connectors. And it turns out that in her family, one of her relatives, I don't want to give away too much information, one of her relatives works with a senior level leader at an organization that she was applying to. And that conversation. Turns out that this individual that is a part of her family actually works for the hiring manager and decision maker at this organization. Guess what happens next? My client says, hey, I actually applied for a position there. I didn't even realize or think to talk to you about it, but I applied for this position. Her family goes, oh, we're actually looking for someone in that role, and I'm the one that goes through the resumes. Let me see if I can find your application. She found her application and put her in connection with the senior vice president, the decision maker in said role. And now my client is having conversations with key decision makers. That didn't happen just her relying on her professional network. When you're able to identify who is in your network and then deploy a strategy to activate your network, it looks real different. This is one of the things, y'all. This is one of the things that we're going to be talking about at the conference, because everybody's telling you network, 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 network. Okay. Network, go to the happy hour and network. connect with this, that, and the third, and network. But what they're not teaching you is how to do that effectively, number one. And number two, you don't always have to rely on a single aspect. You and I are multifaceted individuals that are placed in certain circles of influence on purpose. When you have been able to identify who is in your network, then you can deploy a strategy. This is what I teach people to do. Now, can you see what I was talking about before? That your purpose is tied to your passion and your passion is tied to your provision. This is exactly what I'm trying to teach y'all. Because I want you to, some of us have been conditioned to think. That does not mean that finding a job is easy, especially in this market. It's not. And what used to work 5 or 10 years ago in getting a job, some people will say does not work right now. And I would agree with them. So please make sure that you are activating your network. Okay. I'm going to take one last question from the questions that were submitted, and then I'm going to give you just a recap of what we talked about. Okay, so the last question that I got is again from someone who has recently ascended into leading a team. The person that used to lead the team is now on their team. Oh boy. And this person that used to lead the team is not responsive to the new tribe member, if you will. This previous individual holds a lot of valuable information that they need, and they're not sure how to handle the situation because management is expecting the same results. Okay, so the question on leadership. You see where I told you earlier how opportunities for women are presented and the environments aren't necessarily conducive to the growth of us in those types of leadership roles? Because now this individual, there is one person who is clearly hurt and bothered that they're no longer a part of this leadership role. And now the other person who is hoping to grow and excel needs support. And this new person won't give it to them. Okay. I can totally understand that. But what I would encourage you to do, if it were me and I was managing now a team that someone either was interested in that leadership role and didn't get it, or they had that leadership role and they didn't get it, I would leave them alone for a little while, because you have got to give them time to process through those emotions. That's number one. Number two, I would start to leverage the other members of your team and stop relying on that one individual to come and save you. And perhaps you're not expecting them to save you, but you're expecting them to give you information. Right now, from a place of being hurt and feeling betrayed, they're not going to give you any information. So what I would encourage you to do is leverage your team. If they are expecting better results or more results, and you are now responsible for leading a team, that one individual is not the whole team, at least from the conversation or from the way that you've posed the question. So start to pay attention to what are some of the other skill sets that the other team members have, and how can you leverage those skill sets to be able to get to the results that you were producing before. Okay. The reason that I say that is because clarity will come by doing, not necessarily by relying on someone else, especially if that individual is hurt. Clarity comes by doing. I'm giving y'all all my gems today. But I hope that answered the question. If you are dealing with someone who is hurt because they got bypassed for a position, or they no longer want to be supportive to this team because they feel betrayed, as the leader, your responsibility is to develop the other folks who are around you so that you can be able to continue to move the team forward. because the option is not to sink. And I can tell you from a hiring manager's perspective, from an individual who's led teams before, you cannot come to me and tell me, oh, well, Susana didn't want to give me information, so that's why the team sank. I'm sorry, what? Susana's not the leader. You are. So what did you do once you found out that Susana wasn't giving you information? How did you leverage the resources that were there for you? And those are tough conversations, but I need you to be equipped. Because if I am expecting you and I've now put you in a position where I believe that you can lead, and you're busy relying on someone else because you have not been able to leverage the rest of your team, I'm going to have questions. And I'm also going to have some concerns. Okay. So please, 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 please make sure that you're paying attention to that. Okay. So I hope that helped y'all. If that helped, if this has helped you so far, I want you to tell me so. What has been your biggest takeaway so far from the conversation that we've had today? What has been your biggest takeaway from the conversation that we've had today? While you type that, I just want to catch up for some of the questions that I have. Okay, so this question that I got, oh, y'all like the shape. Yay! Okay, now listen, I want to be mindful. I'm going to answer the question that's on the screen right now, and I will tell you guys what the question is. But I want you to be mindful. If you appreciated this type of conversation and it was helpful for you today, I want you to be aware that this is the type of stuff that you're going to be learning should you come to the conference. So this is what I want you to do. If you want to get more information on the conference and how it can help you, I want you to type the word learn in the chat right now. If you type the word learn in the chat live on Instagram, I will send you information on how you can leverage this for the conference. If you want to learn more on how to improve your leadership, on how to understand the landscape, on understanding more about what it looks like to be an effective leader, I want you to type learn in the chat. And my assistant, Susana the bot, will send you more information. For those of you who are watching me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I'm going to put the information in the chat. And if you click on that link in the chat, it will send you to the place where you can get information on how to join us for the conference. The conference is 2 days, June 25th and June 26th. It is a leadership professional development conference specifically geared for women, okay, on how you can leverage what you have to become a stronger leader. So like that, you are well equipped, valued, seen, and heard. Like that's what I'm for. All right. So if you are interested in learning more about the conference, how much is it going to be? Where is it going to be held? Who's going to be speaking? All of that, if you comment the word learn on Instagram right now, I will send you the link for you to be able to get more information. I will also, in that same link that you get, if your employer covers your professional development, this might be an opportunity for you as well. Okay? Because I give you a letter that you can use for your employer, letting them know, hey, listen, I really would like to be a part of this conference. I really would like to participate in this. Is this something that we can consider? I give you all that information on the page. Okay. So if you want more information on that, just comment the word learn on our live right now on Instagram, and you will be able to get to where you can get information around the conference. All right. So let's talk about negotiations. This is one of my favorite conversations. How to negotiate an offer in the higher end of the band. Okay, so this person has over 15 years of experience. The band is between 80 and 124. I'm already maxed, my love, but this is what I want to tell you. There should be ranges that you should have between that 100, between that 80 and that 124. Okay, so before you even start negotiating, you need to know what is going to be the number that you will wait, want, and walk. And I got to find the coach who gave us that terminology, because she was incredible in being able to kind of break it down this way. You need to know what is your wait, your want, and your walk number. Your wait number is going to be, if they give you 80, then you're going to wait for a better opportunity. Okay. If they give you 100, that will be your walk number if you want. And your want number is going to be 122, let's say I'm going to say 120. Now, why am I not telling you to go to the end of the band? The reason why I don't want you to be all the way at the end of the band when it comes to you being able to negotiate is because if you start at the end, at the highest end of the band, if you were to start at 124, what is going to happen is that they are going to tell you, okay, thank you. Two things will happen. They will either tell you thank you, but no thank you. Or if they hire you and you later on go to ask for a promotion, they're going to tell you no. I know that you've changed things around. I know that you have incredible expertise, but we're not going to give you a promotion because you're already at the higher end of the band. We're not going to help you with that because you're already at the higher end of the band. So you need to know what is your range that you are going to fall within between that 80 and that 124. Okay. I feel like I'm freezing, but if that made sense, I want you to type made sense when it comes to negotiations. Okay. When it comes to negotiating your salary, you should know where you fall within that band. And if you start negotiating to be all the way at the higher end of the band and they give that to you, don't be upset later on if they don't promote you or if they don't give you any more money, because you've already hit the higher end of the band. Okay. All right. Awesome. It's making sense. Question here is, a manager from a different department IM'd me about a project management position. However, I've never worked on that side of the industry. How do I go about asking them, how is that area? Exactly how you just phrased that question. This is a really good one, and I'm glad that this individual asked. If they are coming to you for a position, it's because they already think you're qualified. I'm going to say that one more time. If they are already coming to you about a position, it's because they already think you are qualified. If they are coming to you about a position, it's because they already think you're qualified. So why do I say that? The ball is in your court, my love. You ask as many questions as possible and as needed so that you can get a best understanding of what this is going to entail. So you can start with, thank you so much for considering me for this opportunity. Can you tell me more? Can you tell me more about, oh no. Okay, I'm still live on, I hope I'm still live on I lost Instagram, y'all. But if you can hear me and see me well on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Facebook, please let me know. If you can hear me and see me well on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, please let me know. Anyway, oh my goodness, what is going on? All right, y'all can still hear me. Beautiful. Oh man. Okay. I don't know what happened, but y'all can still hear me well here. I don't know what happened on Instagram. So if they came to you for a position, if they are approaching you for a role, please know that they already think that you are qualified. So if they're asking you for more information or they think that you would be a really good fit for the role, then I need you to operate in that confidence and ask as many questions as possible. For those of you who are joining me now on Instagram, I lost the live, but do not fear because I'm recording this on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. So if you missed the live or you want to watch it back, I will have a replay for you. It'll just be on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I mean, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Okay. But the question was surrounding what do I do if they reached out to me for a position? How do I ask about it? Hello, my love. If they reached out to you for a position, they already think that you are qualified. You ask as many questions as possible. Can you tell me more about the role? Who am I going to be working with? What are the expectations of said role? Does this come with any additional compensation, or what is the salary for this opportunity? How soon do I need to let you know about my decision? Can you provide some insight into the scope of work that you would want me to do? Okay. So I hope that that brought a little bit more clarity, because I know that a lot of people get that and they're like, oh, I don't know if I should take the position. You have to ask as many questions as possible, especially if they're coming to you. If they're coming to you for a position, it's because they already think you're qualified. And now that they already think you're qualified, the ball is in your court. So make sure you're asking the right questions. Um, Oh, okay. So this is another good question, and this will probably be my last one, y'all. Again, if you are joining me on Instagram and we got disconnected, the entire live is going to be saved on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So you will be able to go back to watch it there. I don't know what happened with Instagram. But the last question that I'm taking surrounds being promised a promotion and that not happening. I am going to make a suggestion that for some will probably make them very uncomfortable, but I want you to be aware. If you have been promised a promotion and that has not come into fruition, there's a couple things that you should probably do right now. The first is to make sure that your resume and your LinkedIn profile are reflecting accurately the work that you are currently doing. I'm going to say that again. Make sure that your resume and your LinkedIn profile are reflecting accurately the work that you are currently doing. Okay. So I want you to be aware of that. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is that I want you to start applying to see what new opportunities are available to you. This is where I get some people who give me pushback. Oh, but I don't want to go, like, I don't want to leave my job. I just want them to give me a promotion. The reason that I am encouraging you to start to apply to new opportunities is because without having any leverage, they will keep you right where you are at. So what happens is, as you start to assess what new opportunities are available to you and how you can grow in your industry or in a new role, either with the company that you're working with or a new organization, you will have some leverage. So if they've been promising you stuff for a really long time and nothing is happening other than your bills continue to go up, it might be time for you to reevaluate, how much longer am I going to let them play with me? Because what I don't have is time for games. So how much longer am I going to let them play with me? And here's the thing, y'all. I know that that sounds easier said than done. And for many of us, that's a scary place to be at, especially in this given market. But no one else is going to fight for you or advocate for you better than you. No one else is going to advocate for you better than you. So if they've been promising you promotions for a long time and nothing has happened, it might be time for you to promote yourself by looking at what new opportunities are available. Okay. The summary of the shape stands for your strengths, your heart, your abilities, and personality, and your expertise. Strengths, heart, what are you passionate about? Your abilities, what do you do well? Your personality, what makes you uniquely you? And your expertise. What skill have you mastered with enough confidence that you can teach someone else and they will get great results as well? Okay. So I hope that helped. Um, Okay. So this was awesome. If you are still interested in joining us for the conference that will be taking place in June 25th through the 27th is when we will be hosting the conference. I am going to put the link, I'm going to pin the link for you to be able to check it out on Instagram. I don't know what happened before, y'all, but I'm so sorry. But the full video, today's full live, will be available for you on YouTube, and it will be available for you on LinkedIn. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that. But anyways, if you want to join us, we'd love to have you. June 25th through the 27th is going down, and we'll be doing quite a bit of personal development and professional development in a way that is going to be practical. My whole purpose behind the conference is not only to get to know y'all, hear your story, pour into you, but I also want to make sure that what you're learning is practical for you to implement back at your job and in your personal life. Because the idea is to make sure that you are seen, valued, heard, and equipped. The whole preface for why I started this is because I wish someone would have shared with me as plainly as I share with y'all some of the things that I am sharing with y'all. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for sharing your biggest takeaways. I am so glad that the shape exercise resonated with so many of y'all. I'm telling you, once you start putting that baby into practice, a lot of things get real clear. So I encourage you to put that into practice. I also encourage you that if this helped you today, make sure you share it with someone else, because sharing is caring. Let's not keep it to ourselves. And I thank you for your time and attention, for spending time with me, for pouring into yourselves, because I'm hoping that you didn't just listen, but that you're also going to apply what you have learned. And for those of you who have registered for the conference, I can't wait to meet you. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So good. I can't wait. So I will catch you guys on the flip. I'm going to try to upload the full live to Instagram. I don't know what happened before, but I will try to upload it. But if you can't catch the full live, it is available to you on LinkedIn and on YouTube. And I thank you so much for rocking with me. Okay. So you guys have the most amazing, amazing rest of your day and week. And we will stay in touch. All righty. All right, everybody. Bye. Hi, Leslie. Hi, honey. See y'all later.